was fairly desperate. There was a friend of mine who I didn't realise was actually manipulating behind the scenes and trying to attack my child psychologically. It was all very hidden and my heart just broke when it all came to the surface. I had nobody and no one could see what was happening until I asked for your help.
And you know, you've tried everything and it's out of your control. You went to a higher power.
There was a war going on almost immediately after you started doing the prayers.
Hey Lisa, how are you?
Hi Dee, good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Tell me about how Jesus helped you in your walk with your family and what was happening in your life at the time.
Yeah, so about 12 months ago, I was fairly desperate. There was a friend of mine who I didn't realise was actually manipulating behind the scenes and trying to attack my child psychologically, and it ended up accumulating in a verbal assault. It was all very hidden and my heart just broke when it all came to the surface, and I was very desperate to protect my child and understand how no one else could see what was happening. We have known each other for a very long time, just through our children's sports and soccer. And we've had many conversations over the years, and I've always just listened to what you've had to say, and I guess I was absorbing it, and I was in a place where I was really desperate because I could see my child hurting. I was hurting from someone that was very close to me that I trusted and had invited into my home, that all of this damage was done. And so I reached out to you because something inside told me you were the person that was possibly going to help navigate through where I couldn't. I was just very lost. I didn't know who to help me because we also crossed over on a different sporting community, and this woman had wrapped everybody around.
Everyone turned against you.
Everyone. I had nobody and no one could see what was happening until I asked for your help. And that's when everything just started for her spiralling and exploding, and people could see who she really was. But it wasn't till the prayers came into it that I got clarity.
And so you had that mustard seed faith to reach out because you knew this needed to be dealt with in the spirit rather than physically.
I had no other options left. I'm a kind person. I include everybody. I have done everything that I could to not rock the boat, to not cause problems behind the scenes in what is a nice sporting community, and I had nothing left. I've tried everything, and I was from a place of desperation, but also I think behind that now in reflection, it was strength to reach out.
Yeah. 100%. Especially we were quite casual. It was, I remember it was on a Sunday, and I knew Jesus could help you because when we get to that point when we have nothing left.
No.
And you know, you've tried everything and it's out of your control. You went to a higher power. Can you tell me a bit about how you prayed so it can help others?
Yeah, my daughter wasn't very sure, and so I didn't want to put extra stress on. She was in a very traumatic situation and had been bullied, and there was a lot of she was very, very lost and had gone into herself. So I chose to do that with you, and then also while she was sleeping, I would go to her bed and pray right next to her.
Amazing.
So that and I did it every day. I did it in moments of quietness, just every opportunity I could in my day, because I was so desperate for this.
That's amazing.
To happen and to be reversed, because I knew that this wasn't something we had asked for or deserved.
And what did you say to God?
I just prayed that I knew that when I closed my eyes and even though I couldn't hear or see anything, that there was some really not magic, but more spiritual. There was a war going on, you explained to me, and I knew that I just trusted that even though I couldn't see or hear what was happening, that there was a massive spiritual warfare happening in her name to reverse the evil that had infiltrated her. And so I just trusted that there was things happening.
God was hearing your prayer.
Yeah.
Amazing. And was it just a one-off prayer? You kept pressing in?
I kept going and I kept going. Amazing. And I just thought about the evil spirit being, like you said, strangled so it couldn't speak. eyes closed so no one could see and no one could hear it, and that it would just be banished. And I think now looking back a year later, as much as you can hold on to resentment, I think you told me God will forgive her. And at that point in time, I thought she doesn't deserve the forgiveness, but I've come to a point to realise that the person that she was as a friend to me in those early days is, I wish her peace and I hope she comes back to that, because she was a nice person at one stage and has obviously been influenced, and I hope she gets to be a nice person again and just to leave us alone, but also she goes and lives her life differently.
Absolutely. How amazing. What I remember the journey when we prayed, it was
Several times. Yeah.
I remember the light shining brighter in the moment we were praying, and I knew
It did in her room too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember God was hearing our prayer, and he was gone before us in this battle, because we know it's never physical. It's dealt with in the spirit. And what one requirement I know Jesus wanted you to do was to forgive the person so we can surrender entirely the situation, and he would go before us and fight the battle for us, because forgiveness comes with peace, and it stops any bitterness brewing in our lives and anger, because that's not good for us either, right?
Yeah.
And that requires strength to say, look, this person has hurt me, but I've chosen this moment to forgive them, and I give you, God, I give you the whole situation. I surrender it to you. And you got to a point where you were so desperate. That's a really good place to be, because you're done.
Desperate, yeah.
You know only God can help you in that situation, especially with bullying and the attacks that were happening in her life, and it was not coming from one direction.
It wasn't, and there was then children involved, and it was,
And parents?
just this one parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But very powerful, the influence she had and how she had manipulated for the last 2 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I chose to know that God was going to forgive her. And that it's not up to me then to hold that resentment and that anger, because I can't walk around with it.
Yeah.
And I know deep down she's capable of being a good person to others. I don't want her in my life anymore, and she never will be.
Yeah.
But I wish her, that she can get back to the place where she was a lovely person.
That's amazing. When did you start seeing things shift? Tell me about that.
Almost immediately after you started doing the prayers, I randomly got someone reach out from our sports community and say, I've been wanting to say this for a while to you, but I've just noticed how crazy she is and all the things that she has said about you and my daughter in the past, and how wrong it's been. And she has now done this to us, and I've finally realised what she's like. Wow. And that one person was quite influential within the dancing community. And once I had her on my side, the wheels just started to fall off. That's when she went in and she verbally attacked my child, and I didn't back down. I was like, you need to be doing something about this to make it a safe place for my child to come. And I wasn't letting her get away with it. And in the end, they ended up kicking her out of out of that community, and she wasn't allowed to do a performance, and she's had to move. So she's not even in our space anymore.
Wow. How things change so quickly.
Very
how
quickly.
God turns things around for us.
Like I would never have thought in the space of a couple of weeks that, we were 5 weeks out from a performance and they kicked her out. They chose to kick her out and say you can't perform.
That's huge.
Yep.
This is when you know the kingdom of God is on your side.
And we had tickets to that performance thinking, we're going to have to sit and watch her perform, like it's going to be awful.
Wow.
It's everything a plus more than I asked for.
Wow. How has this situation changed your life spiritually?
I think I notice the little things now that maybe before I just didn't take for granted, but I'm just more aware of, like you said, like the light coming in differently, or there's a beautiful flower, or I don't know. I just notice things a bit more. I think I take time out of my day to be a little bit kinder to others, or connect people in when I can actually, now I can see a lot more of
in the spirit
happening behind the scenes. And so I'm a bit more aware of like, actually this isn't you, and there's a whole nother force happening in that spiritual realm that you need help in, and this you need to reach out and get help. So like I've just connected someone in with you.
Yeah. Who's going through something
support.
similar.
Yeah.
And I know so many women would be in that situation. Bullying is huge to the point where some kids are committing suicide.
That's what I was worried about. And I'm glad that we didn't have to even, it wasn't even close to that, but I didn't want to get to that point.
Yeah. So what advice would you give other people that are going through something similar with bullying?
Reach out as soon as you can. I think even for me, I left it too late and I was a little bit too relaxed of not wanting to upset the community. Perhaps if I'd spoken out earlier, maybe we wouldn't have got to this extreme situation. Perhaps then I would have been stronger to pull my daughter out of that community and we would have found another community.
Yeah.
And so it would have taken a whole different path, but I still think we would have been okay either way. But I might have protected my child from some psychological damage and trauma had I been brave enough to just be, actually, this is not the people that we need to hang around. We can see the evil forces that are at work. Because I had actually seen it for a little while. It was niggling, but it was
coming against you in a gradual way. Yeah,
and I'm not someone that wants to create drama or conflict. I'm not afraid to step up, like to speak up for myself or if need be. But I was quite happy just to status quo, let it go. And I was like, this is life. Actually, it's not life and you don't have to put up with that trauma, especially bullying. Stop it immediately.
Absolutely. And that's something no one considers, dealing with it in the spirit. So for anyone that is going through something similar with bullying, their child's getting bullied and you just feel like you've exhausted every avenue, try dealing with it in the spirit through prayer. Because that's when you get the breakthrough, because the scripture actually says we don't deal with the person, we deal with the spirit in the person. And the enemy doesn't play nicely, as you have seen in your journey.
It's multifaceted. And
awful.
They influence other people to close their eyes and not hear what, I was definitely silenced and pushed out without other people realising what was happening.
Wow.
But I think something as simple as praying.
Yeah.
And really strongly putting everything into that and knowing, and like you said, the trust and just handing that over.
And pressing in like you did. You didn't just pray once. It wasn't just a simple prayer. You kept pressing in.
Yeah, any free moment I had, because it was peaceful, it was free to do.
Exactly.
It was protecting my child. Yeah. And then there was a whole lot of other things that happened, like when you were explaining to me, like once that evil spirit is forced to leave that person, it throws chaos in its track. And so I had maggots all over my floor where I've never ever had maggots before.
Wow.
It wasn't coming from the bin and it took hours to clean up, and it happened multiple times in that week.
So demonic. So a bit of witchcraft spirit that was working.
And then I had like a strange guy hanging around the corner of my house for a couple of hours. And I was like, I'm not going to be afraid of him. And it was dark. My parents were babysitting and they'd said, this guy's been there for a while. And my husband was away and they're like, we're going to go. Are you going to be okay? I said, yeah, just wait here. I'm going to go actually approach him. Yeah. I said, are you okay? Do you need me to call someone for you? And then that really flustered him. And I said, there's a bus stop just down the road. I think you're better off waiting there. So he moved. But then the next day, a black cat came and sat there for hours. Usually cats are really skittish. The cat wouldn't move. Yeah, so lots of little things that I started noticing were happening and would
as you were pressing in,
as changes were happening.
And did it stop you from praying?
No, it made me want to put everything I had into that.
That's amazing, because it is a true war. You don't just fight once. You keep fighting until you receive the victory, and that's exactly what you did. But it's amazing because it's opened your eyes to how real God is in your life and how much he wants to help you. People think, I don't want to bother God with this. It's too small. But you're sitting there suffering. Your children are suffering and you've exhausted every avenue. Mm-hmm. Why not try the living God who cares about every small detail in our lives?
I do. I thank him on a daily basis now. I think that's what's different.
It's amazing.
And it's not big things. It's little things like I can't even remember, but little things. That's even amazing. If it's just what a beautiful sunset. I've stopped to look at that and appreciate it. Or
it's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. It's opened your spiritual eyes to see him and to appreciate all the small things.
It's the little things.
And it makes you build that trust with him, that because you've seen him move in your life when you needed him the most, you're going to keep going and asking him for things.
And I do. And it's only and it's not because I want to be greedy. It's little
because
things.
You need him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't mind.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. He wants to be part of your life
Yeah.
and your children's life, and he wants you to be protected. Like in the scripture, it actually says he's the shepherd. So we are like his sheep. You know, you look at sheep, they are harmless. They can't fight. If a wolf
Yes.
comes, sheep just truly trust the shepherd and follow him. That's what he's like in our own lives, and he wants to guide us.
Yeah.
He wants to protect us. And what a beautiful introduction that your children have seen how amazing God is and that he's alive.
And they're much happier. Like she's
Yeah.
thriving now, and I just had to trust. I had nothing else, so I just put my trust in that
That's amazing.
he would help me, and he did.
Wow. Many more opportunities.
Yeah, and I hope
Don't you
nothing that drastic again.
Yeah.
But I do trust in handing everything over now. And
That's amazing.
not that you won't ever not worry, but I think,
But
looked
that's
after.
hard to do. And that's amazing now you've come to a place of surrender because that's when he can move.
It's a lot more peaceful. I must say.
Yeah. How beautiful. So if anyone's going through something similar with bullying, or they're just going through a really hard trial and everyone's turned against them, they've got nowhere to go to, you're not alone, God is with you, and you're hearing this podcast for a reason. I believe simple prayer, like Lisa said, he's amazing. You just, nothing technical, you just pray from the heart and Jesus, go before me. I'm struggling and I've got no way out. This is hurtful. I'm in a dark place. I give you this war, this battle, because I know you can take care of it. And you will see him move in amazing ways, like he has in Lisa's life and her family. You will see him do the same thing, and you'll have an amazing testimony to share. And you'll try and tell people they probably couldn't see, but you know what God's done for you. So keep pressing in and trust the living God, because he wants to be part of every aspect of our lives, right?
Yep.
Have you got anything else to share?
My only other extra prayer, which I do say every now and then to God, is that I hope because there was one person that she was close to at this new place she's gone, I hope they don't try and ruin her life like she tried to ruin my daughter's. And I often just say a little prayer out for that child, that she's protected from, if the evil influences continue to go through this ex-friend of mine, that child doesn't go through any trauma like mine did.
That's actually so amazing that you're thinking of others in that situation, because sometimes we can be so selfish and just go, well, God helped me and he gave me the freedom and peace and he's got her out of her life.
I still think, I don't trust that she has fully gone back to how she,
used to be.
Yeah, I think she'll easily be infiltrated by evil spirits and demonic beasts, I guess.
Yeah.
So I often just every now and then just do a little prayer for that child.
That's amazing.
That they don't ruin her life.
And I believe that would be protecting that child. So, and that truly shows you have forgiven and that you have peace over the situation. Yeah, that's amazing because you're able to pray for others now and you're focusing on the child.
Yeah, and it is. It's about those innocent people that, we can't protect. As adults, we can do our best. And then the other thing I do ask for forgiveness is if I do have horrible thoughts about her sometimes that I'm like, no, it's not what I want to do.
Exactly.
So I ask for forgiveness for those thoughts.
That's amazing. And see how you're so in tune, because those thoughts aren't your own. The enemy's coming, trying to make you feel bitter and angry, and he's trying to open your wounds again.
Yeah.
It's great that you recognize those thoughts and instantly you surrender and go, forgive me, God. And that's when it has no power over your life.
I do still sometimes cross paths with this lady, either on the road or at the shops, and I just say to myself now, it's just a car on the road, it's just a person. It's almost like she doesn't exist to me anymore.
Yeah.
So that she can't hurt me.
Great, because she can't.
Yeah.
She has no power over you.
She's not in my world anymore.
Yeah, how beautiful. And one thing I wanted to share is that God allows this to, although how hurtful it is, he allows this to happen in our lives because he exposes the darkness. We see people in such a beautiful way at times and we want the best for them and we're so close, they're really good friends of ours, but he exposes the person's intentions.
Yeah.
And he does eliminate people in our lives that aren't good for us. And it hurts. you're shocked, you're taken by it, you don't expect that. You've got history with this person, but he knows what's good for us. And it does sometimes filter and divide people that are there to try and still kill and destroy. And he will give you new people, right?
Exactly. And it's just meant that we're actually a stronger sporting group now. Other children are thriving. There's better relationships. It was almost like, once this mum and her daughter was out, we were just a happy community now. There's just the weight off our shoulders. Everyone's then allowed to then thrive. I just think we're just much happier now, and I'm not afraid to reach out for anything now.
That's amazing.
And connecting people in.
Yeah, that's important.
I think it's part of like spreading a message, but also just so people, like, there isn't no hope. There's always hope.
Always hope.
There's always a better place that you can be coming from.
Yeah.
Because I think you even mentioned, like, this isn't going to stop. There are going to be more
different
evil battles. Yeah.
Yep.
But I think now I'm better equipped, and I would straight away be onto it. Like, it's not a,
And you'll be dealing with it in the spirit now.
Yeah, I think I'm stronger from it. And, I just feel, my family's protected, I'm protected, and I can move forward now confidently knowing that we've got,
it's amazing,
God on our side and protection from good people around us.
Amen. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing your testimony.
Thanks,
That's amazing.
Dee.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Great. Thank you.